live on your tablet, phone, and the KUTV app. This is 2 News Live.
Yes, it is. Welcome in another week of 2 News Live. I'm Brian Schnee. It is Monday, March 27th. Can you believe it? Almost April at this point. We're going in depth on a number of topics tonight, including a school shooting in Nashville that left 7 dead, including the shooter. We have new information on that. Also, the importance of flooding and insurance. The differences of what you need to know about how you are covered and what you need to know about your properties. We'll get into that with Christina Flores coming up. And the elk are back. The DWR cautioning about another piece of the herd that came down from the foothills to the Salt Lake Country Club. We're going to dive into all of that and more. But first, let's get to our headlines. Tonight, you can find these articles on our website right now, KUTV.com. 3 people have died after a crash involving several vehicles in Box Elder County. We told you about this in our noon newscast. Officials responded to the scene. Northbound I-15 said multiple semi-trucks were involved. Again, 3 killed in that crash. And as of last check, that freeway still experiencing some traffic tonight and backups. President Biden's student loan forgiveness program may face a new threat before the U.S. Supreme Court rules on whether it can be carried out. Now, 3 Republican senators are planning to introduce a resolution to overturn Biden's debt relief program. Also making headlines, we now know the names of 2 people killed in a crash near Saltaire. This took place over the weekend. Police say they were killed when their car crashed head-on with a semi-truck. Finally, in our headlines tonight, in southern Utah, UDOT crews are starting a large construction project on I-15 to build a new exit leading to Main Street in Washington. The work is happening between Green Spring Drive, exit 10, commonly known to some folks in the area, and Washington Parkway, which is exit 13. We are always going in depth on a number of topics. You can get in touch with us throughout the show. Use the hashtag 2NewsLive to join the conversation. You can always find me on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram, and always get a direct message. You can send me one of those to weigh in. We're going in depth tonight. A deadly elementary school shooting in Nashville, Tennessee. I've been following this incident for you all day, listening to a number of briefings from law enforcement. Here is what we know tonight. The investigation is underway. Police say 3 children, 3 adults, and the shooter are dead. 7 people total. The suspect is a female, 28-year-old Audrey Hale. They say she was a former student at the school, which is also inside of a church building. She was armed with 2 assault-style rifles and a handgun when she was killed by responding officers. Police said in a briefing this afternoon that she obtained at least 2 of those guns legally. As for a motive, police confirmed they found a map with details of how these events will play out. They also plan to release new video tonight or tomorrow. Well, let's get to it right now. We're hoping to hear from Amanda Gilbert coming up a little bit later. She was going in depth on that topic for us, but let's turn to something else. Here's a live look for you. Solitude Mountain Resort. You see it here. It's after hours right now, but they are reporting 700 inches of snow. They are not alone. It's the most in Solitude's recorded history. They're also saying they're going to expand the season a little bit and make it a historic year for them in terms of the days that they are open. Switching over to our folks at Snow Basin, where the resort saw more than 22 inches just overnight last night. The video is really remarkable. I was taking a look at the snow stake chase. 0, and then it just flew up till about 22, 23. You couldn't even see the top, and that was about 4 or 5 hours. It was amazing.
Yeah, they picked about 3 feet of snow within the last 24 to 36 hours for them. So tons of snow. And speaking of tons of snow, 7 of our Utah resorts, Brian, are now recording their all-time snow totals. Let's talk about number 1, Brighton at 780. We talked about hitting 800. I think that's likely now.
Well, very real now. I mean, a few weeks ago we were saying, I don't know about this. We're going to have some major things play out, and they've played out.
That's right. Alta 764. Solitude just hit, of course, 700 inches. Park City, Deer Valley over 500 inches. We're seeing Snow Basin at 504 and Sundance at 442 inches.
Can't forget about Sundance, which saw some avalanche activity earlier. We're hoping to get that video cleared for you so we can show it to you, but pretty remarkable.
Good thing you mentioned that. Avalanche danger is high to considerable, so that backcountry got to stay out of bounds, or stay in bounds, not out of bounds where it is quite high.
And as always, if you're going to go anywhere, I mean, you could be using the right gear, the avalanche transceiver, the probe, the whole 9 yards recommended, even if you are inbounds these days.
We've been seeing a few of those slides.
Yeah.
Just be careful out there. Those steep slopes are very dangerous right now. Let's get to that forecast because yet we have another storm that is going to be moving into Utah later this week. But take a look. What we really care about is that water in the snowpack. And no surprise, over the weekend we broke that record of the snow water equivalent is how much water is in that snowpack, sitting at 26.7 inches, which smashes the old record of 26 inches back in 1983. Put that in perspective, our normal snow water equivalent is 15.8 inches, so we're more than 10 inches above that. Again, the water that's in the snowpack. And last year, we only ended up with 12 inches of snow water equivalent. All right. Valley's also got a lot of snow this morning. That's because of the lake effect. Those winds out of the east impacting Davis and Weber County. We saw almost 1.5 feet in Layton, 9 inches in Ogden, Sandy, 5 inches, and of course a couple inches in our mountain valleys. Temperatures for tonight, we are going to be cooling off. We'll likely see some teens and 20s, which is well below normal for this time of year. So it's cold out there. Tomorrow, though, a nice rebound just a bit. Yeah, it's a little cool for some, especially out in northeastern Utah, Cache Valley in the 30s, but along the Wasatch Front, upper 40s and low 50s. So a lot of that snow will begin to really melt for tomorrow. Partly cloudy skies across the state, and St. George coming in at 65 degrees. Here comes that next storm. Again, these storms now are dropping more towards the south, bringing in that colder air. Typically, though, as we head into March, April, they stay a little bit more to the north, and we don't see that cold air really move in. Not this one. That's a slow mover impacting us Wednesday afternoon through Friday morning. So let's walk you through it. This is Tuesday afternoon. Mentioned it's going to be a really pleasant day tomorrow. Wednesday morning's dry. Wednesday afternoon, though, showers developing across western Utah. Those winds are out of the southwest, so it's still going to be a mild day with valley rain and mountain snow developing by Wednesday evening. Then the colder air moves in by Wednesday night, and we could see that rain change to snow again on the valley floor, with some hit or miss snow showers throughout the day, and it could likely linger into Friday morning as well, when we could see a couple inches, especially on grassy and elevated surfaces. A lot more, though, in the mountains. St. George, 65 degrees, 64 on Wednesday, more clouds, and then we'll see some rain moving in on Thursday in southern Utah, and a bit cooler into the 50s. Keep in mind, normal high is 71. We're going to get closer to that, though, by the weekend. Look at Saturday, 66, Sunday at 70 degrees. Salt Lake, we are in the 50s for a couple more days, and then it gets cold again, 40s with these snow showers Thursday and Friday morning. Saturday, though, make those outdoor plans. It will be a beautiful day at 55 degrees, a dry day, and then another storm, Brian, late Sunday and into Monday with more rain changing to snow. So every storm is bringing in these cold fronts. We get a little bit of rain, the colder air moves in, we get some valley snow, impacting some of those commutes like it did this morning.
Well, you're saying hit or miss. It's been a lot of hit lately.
Yeah,
at least it's felt that way. I mean, I'm sitting here downtown looking outside. I go, oh, it's snowing again. Didn't expect that. I mean, obviously it's in your forecast for scattered showers coming through, but goodness, they've been hitting us.
We talked about lake effect snow, remember, last week?
Yep.
That's what we kind of had today. Lake effect, lake enhancements just a bit. Really cold air mass for this time of year for that to happen, because typically when we get that lake effect snow, that happens earlier in the season where we have a much warmer lake. The lake isn't that warm, so you really need a colder air mass to get things going. And speaking of the Great Salt Lake, you know, we're going to get some runoff. It's already climbed 2 feet. So we're going to be watching that runoff too. Eventually, we are going to warm up, and we're going to help fill those reservoirs.
Again, hoping it's gradual at this point.
Right.
All right. Thank you, Chase. As we continue to track storms, download our 2 News weather app to know about changes in your neighborhood. Get updated forecasts, live radar right on your phone. The app is free to download. Just grab that phone right now, scan the QR code on your screen, and be sure to check us out. Concerns over flooding keeps rising in Utah. We get more and more snow and rain. We're going in depth on flood insurance. We're keeping Chase here. We're not letting him go anywhere yet.
Okay, no, it's more fun if he's here.
You got some questions for me? We're talking about
Is
flooding?
that a shot? I know. Christina Flores is here. We're talking about flood insurance.
Yeah, and it's a topic of conversation that many people are having. Should I get flood insurance? Should I not? Well, here's some information that could help you. The first thing that everyone needs to know, I'm finding, is that you can't expect your flood insurance to be included in your standard homeowner insurance policy. So if there's flooding and you go checking your policy, don't expect that to be there. Flood insurance is something you have to purchase separately, and oftentimes you have to get it from a different company because not every insurance company offers flood insurance.
You were talking about earlier that Salt Lake County is in the red, according to the FEMA website.
Yeah.
What does that mean?
So all of the Salt Lake Valley is shown right now, according to FEMA, as a relatively high risk flood zone. So I'm sure as the days go on, that would change, but we already have a lot of snow. So, the risk could go up even further from there. But right now, those communities in the area, if you go to the FEMA map, it's on our website, KUTV.com, you will see that all our area here in the Salt Lake Valley is a high flood risk zone right now because the water, as you've been saying, all
it's
this
all-time snowpack.
Yeah,
So
if it starts melting in a hurry, then we could all see flood damage. And flood damage doesn't mean a ton of water rushing into your house.
Right.
A little bit of water going into your house could cause a lot of damage over time. So that's why it's a good idea to look into flood insurance, see what it costs for you. It's going to depend on where you live and what the risk is where your house is. So it could vary from home to home.
Christina Flores with us here on 2 News Live. Your story comes up tonight at 10. One real quick thing, though. If people run out right now and they want to get their flood insurance, it doesn't go into effect right away, right?
No. So if you buy it today and it floods tomorrow, it's not going to help you. You need to have it for anywhere between 15 and 30 days in order for it to take effect. Also important to note that if we do have widespread flooding, they may stop issuing flood insurance policies. So another thing to consider.
All right. Thank you, Christina. If you're interested, obviously, as you should be, especially if you live in an area that could potentially flood, check out the story tonight on 2 News at 10. Be sure to get your phones out right now and scan this QR code as well. Weigh in on this poll we have for you. We want to know, how would you describe your level of flood insurance for your home? To take part in the poll, all you got to do, grab the phone, scan that QR code on your screen, or you could find this story on our website, KUTV.com. Well, something we've talked about almost for months at this point. The elk are back again. About 40 elk from a herd of about 80 have moved from the foothills outside of Salt Lake City to live the lush life of the Salt Lake Country Club property. About 20 of those are on the property. Another 20 are nearby. There are some more concerns with this for public safety along Interstate 80, Foothill Drive. I've spoken with Scott Root, a conservation outreach manager with the Division of Wildlife Resources, about this in weeks past. I also spoke with him again today. He told me the elk came back for the same reason they ended up here in the first place. It turns out the country club is a great place to find food right now.
But for us, because of damage they can do, and for public safety, we wanted to get them up on the mountain. Elk typically can do just fine up on the mountain, and we are getting some green up there. But we've had that snow, and we knew we had snow coming. But it's just, if they want to come down, they're going to come down. We had people up there, staff up there, all night long, sleepless nights for 5 nights in a row, and we had some come down, but we finally pulled everybody. And then, of course, they just filtered right back down. Bad timing because they got more snow. So we don't want to stress them right now. So our plan is basically just to leave them be, and we'll evaluate our next step.
Why is this concerning that they're back in this area again? Is it because of the roads nearby? Is it because of their movement? I mean, what is it that could be detrimental to not only the elk, but to the public at this point?
Well, the number one reason that we don't want them there is for public safety. If they're going to keep, coming down, crossing Foothill or I-80, obviously that's a huge risk for public safety. And then there's other reasons as well. But again, we don't want to keep stressing them. They got down pretty easily and pretty quickly in the middle of the night and knew right where to go. So, I mean, we could talk fencing, with UDOT and all these other options. But for now, I think we're just going to kind of let them stay there. And hopefully they'll either move up their own quickly and quietly in the middle of the night, or if there's an imminent danger or we see the need to do this, then we may have to do something similar to what we did before.
Well, we want to go in depth now on a topic that has been talked about throughout the nation today, and it involves a school shooting that took place in Nashville this morning. It happened at a church property, which also acts as an elementary school, where a total of 7 people died today. 3 children, ages 9, 9, 9, and then 3 adults. They all worked at the school. 61, 60, 61. If you're interested in their learning about their identification, we have it on our website, KUTV.com. But also the shooter died as well at the hands of police today. A tough situation that has taken shape here nationally, but also has some local reaction tonight. A local Presbyterian church responding to this news today. Amanda Gilbert spoke with them and some area schools. She joins us live now. Amanda, how are schools here preparing to keep Utah kids safe if this were to happen here? And I know this is not a new conversation.
It's not. You know, I spoke with the Canyon School District, and the spokesman for them kind of said, I think what a lot of school districts are thinking when you hear stories like this happen again, you think, are we prepared? What can we do? So a lot of the districts I spoke with today said they've had these conversations, especially in recent years, about how to make changes. The Mount Olympus Presbyterian Church, I spoke with them as well, just to kind of talk to them. They said this today hits close to home. They said they've even secured their front doors so people can't access their child care center during the week. A lot spoke about the changes they've made, but the biggest thing they said is if you're a parent watching and you're worried, you're concerned and have questions, reach out to the district office and ask those questions that you might have. A lot of districts have resources or information out there, so you can be directed to that. I think that's really important. Back to you, Brian.
Amanda, thank you very much. We're going to move on to go in depth tonight on the Gwyneth Paltrow case taking place in Park City. We're hearing from the man suing actress Gwyneth Paltrow over a ski collision that took place at Deer Valley. Mind you, this took place in 2016. The suits were filed in 2019. Terry Sanderson took the stand today along with a ski instructor who was nearby when the collision happened years ago. Daniel Woodruff has been there all day. He joins us live now. Daniel, what did Sanderson say when he took the stand?
Yeah, Brian, the essence of Terry Sanderson's testimony can really be boiled down to that he says it was Gwyneth Paltrow's fault back in 2016 that she skied into him, not the other way around, that he was hurt, that he suffered the effects of those injuries now for years, and that he's suing over this because he wants to bring the truth out about that. That was his main testimony today. He talked a little bit about how when he had originally talked to his family about the collision, how he had used the term "I'm famous" in an email to his daughters. He acknowledged today that that was not the best thing he could have done. He said he didn't care about colliding with a celebrity, Gwyneth Paltrow, an actress. He just said that he was that this was very unexpected, that he didn't expect to have someone run into him on the slopes, and that when he was hit, he couldn't move. He was helped up, taken down off the mountain, but he says he was hurt badly, suffered some broken ribs and a concussion, among other things, and again, saying that he has felt the effects of this collision ever since then in several ways.
Daniel, last week there was mention of maybe some video circulating at one point about this crash actually taking place, whether that's video from up close or whether it's from afar. Did that come up in court today?
Yeah, it came up, but we've seen no video. So Terry Sanderson, the plaintiff, says there is no GoPro video that he has seen of the collision. Today, the judge did allow in a piece of evidence, a new piece of evidence, that was a meetup.com link to some chats with one of Sanderson's friends who was there, who talked about Sanderson being hit by Gwyneth Paltrow. But if you remember last week when she testified, Paltrow said that it was the other way around, that she was hit by Sanderson. And so those chats seem to be on Sanderson's side, but we've heard a lot of conflicting testimony throughout this trial about who actually first ran into who.
Daniel Woodruff live for us outside of the Park City Courthouse, day number 5 for this trial. Thank you, Daniel. There's a lot of articles on this right now on our website, too. This has gained a lot of attention, of course, here locally in the state of Utah, but
very cool.
Really all over the country and all over the world. So if you're interested in the back and forth case between Gwyneth Paltrow and Dr. Terry Sanderson, we have a lot of links on our website, KUTV.com. It seems like we got to go to space.
Yes, I'm getting really excited about this story,
Okay.
Brighton, okay? You can see 5 planets aligned in the night sky tomorrow.
So Mercury, Jupiter, Venus, Uranus, and Mars will all be visible near the moon, huh?
Well, that's if you have really clear skies. You know, if you have a binocular.
Salt Lake City?
You know
with
what?
Current state of weather and everything?
You might be able to see a couple of the planets, probably not all 5. You really want to get away from that light pollution. So if you're in the Moab area, Bear Lake, you're going to see a little bit better than you are here in Salt Lake City.
Astronomers say to look to the western horizon right after sunset. That's where Mercury and Jupiter could be visible for about half an hour before disappearing below the horizon. You, of course, as Chase, you mentioned, you might need something stronger to see some of these planets align. Binocs or a telescope.
Especially for Mercury and Uranus.
Do you expect to get any photos sent in? I think we probably want to solicit that. I think that's a good time here. If you check out any of this lineup here, please send us your photos. This is pretty cool.
Yeah, go to KUTV, our app, chime in, really easy way, click that button, and you can send us your photos, and we'll share them right here on 2 News Live.
Well, lately you've been so used to getting snow photos.
Right, maybe
snow
something
videos.
different.
We'd like to see something different, I think, at this point.
That's right. Well, hopefully we'll have some breaks in the clouds, of course, later tonight and into tomorrow. Storm's moving out.
That's the goal. Of course, we'll be talking more about a lot of these things a little bit later on. 2 News at 6, so grab that remote and turn us on there. And of course, 2 News at 10 o'clock. As for 2 News Live, we're right back here tomorrow, 5:30. We're here Monday through Friday with you. Hope you join us again for more in-depth conversations and, of course, those topics that impact you and your family. He's Chase. I'm Brian. Have a great rest of your Monday. We're back tomorrow. Have a great night.